Hi everyone! Today I'm here with my N.E.W.T.s Wrap Up or August Wrap Up. I'm just going to go through the books that I've read in the order how I read them and what exams they would be for. So the very first book that I finished in the month of August was Beauty and the Beast, the original fairy tale by Gabrielle Suzanne Parber-Devlin. Oh, I can't pronounce that, I'm sorry. In this beautiful edition with like interaction, bits and bobs of different sorts. Can't even show you most of them. And that was for charms, to read a book with magic in it, and that would be for accepted. I enjoyed this book. I gave it 4 stars, but at the same time I think I like the Disney version of this a lot more because there were a few bits that I just didn't like, and the last chapter, the explanation of the prince, was just a bit boring and I felt like a bit unnecessary, to be honest. So I much prefer the original, the Disney version than the original one, but I'm still quite happy to have this in my possession. It is a beautiful book and I enjoy the experience of reading it, the original story. The next book that I read was for Care of Magical Creatures, to get an A in it, and that was for the challenge to read a book with an animal on the cover, and that was To Be a Cat by Matt Haig. I listened to this as an audiobook. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was quite fun. I gave it 4 stars. I don't really have a lot to say. It was just a fun read, how it would be to be a cat. There was basically the story about a boy who turned into a cat and his adventures and all that kind of thing. And also I've noticed that Matt Haig concentrates on what it is to be a human quite a lot, and I quite like it about his writing style and about his books, the ones that I've read so far. The next book I counted towards herbology, to get an A in that one, but the challenge was to read a book with a green cover. And when I first read the challenge, I understood it as to read a book with a green on the cover, so I'm not sure if that counts, but I still counted, and that was Lost for Words by Stephanie Butland. It is a women's fiction about this girl who prefers reading books than talking to people, and it is about her story, kind of about her past. I really enjoyed this book. I can't remember a lot about it as much now for some reason. I have a terrible memory, but I gave this 4 stars. It was going from the past to the present day, and I enjoyed that as well. For some reason I just can't remember much what happened in this book, but I think I even cried potentially, or just felt of this book. I sympathise with the main character for many reasons, so it was definitely enjoyable read, and I would think it was quite cozy as well, so I'm glad that I finally read it. I bought it last year in summer and finally finished it. The next book I read again for Care of Magical Creatures for the second challenge, which was to get Exceeded Expectations. And the challenge was to read a book that is, I think, less than 160 pages or something like that. I can't remember exactly. But I listened to a very short audiobook which is called The Boy Who Could Do What He Liked by David Baddiel. I gave it 3 stars. It was a very, very short book, kind of fun, nothing really special. It literally was about the boy who gets a nanny who somehow made it so that he could do whatever he wanted in so many different ways, and it was fun, it was enjoyable, not much I can say about it. Another audiobook that I've listened to was again for Care of Magical Creatures, and for that was to read a book that somehow contains dragons, and I read the book that is called The Boy Who Could Grew Dragons by Andy Shepherd. I give that book 2 stars. There wasn't anything special, and again it was simply about the boy who grew dragons. He grew dragons in his garden and things that happened afterwards. It was kind of fun, but again nothing special. I wasn't exactly very interested in it. It was quite short as well, about 3 hours or so. And I think there is a sequel as well, but I'm just not really bothered to read it, to be honest. It wasn't anything special. So my next book was again for charms, and for that was a book for Exceeded Expectations, to read a book with a cover that charmed you. And for that I used the July Fairyload book, which was Heart of Thorns by Brie Barton. It is a beautiful cover. When I saw it, I definitely was charmed by it, so I thought I'd read it. Unfortunately, I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would. I only gave it 2 stars. I thought it was from time to time just boring. I was enjoying the first half of the book, but then the second half just kind of killed it for me. I wasn't interested in it. I just wanted it to be over, and I'm definitely not going to continue on with this second book in the series. It's basically about this world in which some women kind of can possess magic, and it is considered to be dangerous, and how society is dealing with it. And then there's this girl who is about to marry a prince, and then she finds out that she has magic, and now she's planning to escape. So it was all about that, and I don't know, I didn't particularly enjoy it, didn't care for this book at all. So the next book I used was for arithmancy, and that was for my A mark, to read a book with at least 300 pages, and for that I read a cozy mystery, the first book in the series, which was called A Scone to Die For by H.Y. Hannah, and it is the first book from the, what are they called, the Oxford Tea Room Mysteries or something. I really enjoyed this book. From the very first chapter, I listened to this on audiobook. From the very first chapter I was hooked. I enjoyed it. I give it only 3 stars, but I have a feeling I'm going to continue on with the series, because as soon as I finished the first one I wanted to go into the second one, but then it just didn't fit with any of the challenges, so I kind of had to read something different. But I'm definitely hoping to read more from it. It was quite cozy and quite good. I really like the main character. She works in a cafe in Oxford, in the Oxford village, I'm pretty sure. So it was very enjoyable, and I liked obviously the murder aspect, how she was kind of trying to investigate it all, and I liked the characters as well. But so yeah, I really enjoyed it. The next book that is worth mentioning was a DNF. I was in the mood to read some kind of women's fiction chick lit type of thing, and I started listening to The Cozy Tea Shop in the Castle by Caroline Roberts. I did not like it. I've listened to I think the first hour, and then I realized what I wanted from the book, from that kind of book, is kind of the story of life of a woman who, like, her friendships, what she was doing, like her hobbies, you know, like a life story. Instead I realized, well, it's just going to be purely based on romance, and that's not what I wanted from that. And it was from 2 perspectives of the main character, the girl, or rather woman, and I think her love interest from his point of view, and I just did not like it. His point of view just killed it for me, because he was like, oh, I start thinking about how beautiful she is. Why do I think about it? Oh god, I just killed it for me. So I was not interested in that, and I just DNF'd it. And the very last book that I managed to finish was for Charms, and that was for Outstanding. And the challenge was to read a book that you think will leave a mark, and I read Goodnight Mr. Tom by Michelle McGorrian. This definitely did leave a mark. I think I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed this book. I like how it was slow burning and we got to know the main characters. It is set in the period of World War II, if you didn't know, about this boy who gets sent to an old man, and how he's kind of flourishes under his care, and then one day he has to come back to his mum, his very controlling mum. So I really enjoyed it. I cried in this book at some point quite a lot, because I was just sad from what exactly happened. And I think I would love to watch a film at some point as well. So I got 2 Outstanding in my news. There was Care of Magical Creatures and also Charms. I was also reading 2 other books, but I couldn't finish them in time, so otherwise it would be another Outstanding and Arithmancy as well, but I just didn't get to it. I also got accepted in Herbology and accepted in Arithmancy, so I definitely did manage to do my needs, which I'm really happy with. So yes, I had loads of fun during this readathon, and I look forward to the next year. Let me know in the comments down below how you managed to do your needs, which books you've read for which challenges, which was your favourite book, and did you enjoy the experience? I certainly did. So yes, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye!